I don't like all these cancellations. I remember like watching Aqueduct in the winter with a foot of snow, and they're like, "Let's run them,"
Yeah.
And now there's a couple inches of rain. It's like we're off the turf, we're off the dirt, we're off everything. Got a little soft in horse racing over the years.
This is VSiN at the Track. Now here's your hosts, Mike Somich and Aaron Halterman.
Welcome in here, VSiN at the Track. I am Mike Somich. He is Aaron Halterman, and we are presented by First Bet Racing. Make sure you head over to firstbet.com. Check out what they've got going on. Use the promo code VSiN250 for a sign-up bonus. Aaron Halterman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, Mr. Somich. We got a big show planned. We're going to have a lot of fun on this show, I think. We're going to talk jockey trainers. That's always a hot-button issue for people, right? A little bit of light on the stake schedule, but we're good. We're good. I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it's going to be fun here. We've got quite a bit of news that we're going to go over. We'll talk a little about some cancellations in racetracks, some openings of other racetracks. Got a couple of awards that got handed out that just people lose their mind about, so we'll talk about those. Mr. AP news, as he's now one of your contenders in the Kentucky Derby for next year. Race previews, you mentioned it, with both the Commonwealth at Churchill Downs as well as the Juvenile Stakes at Gulfstream. Can't wait to talk about both those races. I think they're two fascinating races for different reasons there. And then we're going to talk about jockeys and trainers that we trust when we are betting, which I think is going to be fascinating. We're going to come up with a top 5 list on the fly. So I have like who I think should be in the conversation, but trying to get both of us to agree on the top 5, I think going to be very, very interesting, specifically on the trainer side, because I do know we have different opinions around some of those trainers throughout horse racing. And of course, we'll close it out with our best bets as well. So a loaded show for the people today, Aaron.
Yeah, and that's why we're here, right? For the people, no doubt about it. That's why we wake up in the morning, no question about that. So yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely where the post, I should say, Breeders' Cup kind of lull is over after this weekend, right? It's like Thanksgiving weekend is kind of the reintroduction to the next year of horse racing, just a little bit of a month early. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, race wise coming up next week. This week it's a little bit lighter. I think the jockey and trainer thing will be a very interesting conversation. I agree. I think there's going to be a lot of debate, which is fun, and because we see things the same a lot, we also see things different a lot as well. So it'll be interesting to see the list you've come up with there.
Well, yeah, we're going to see the same thing from Fairgrounds here today, I believe it is Thursday. They open up for racing. This is going to be the kickoff of their season. Why does Fairgrounds matter? Well, a couple reasons. First off, this is the 154th season that they will have racing there, so that's obviously a good thing. Secondly, one of the major Kentucky Derby prep trails that we're going to be following there down at Fairgrounds is the Louisiana Trail, culminating in the Louisiana Derby. I don't think this is the best circuit. I think it's kind of like a B-level circuit, but we have seen very good horses go through it.
Well, what I'll tell you is with this, and they did something that they were the first to do it, and they're still the only ones to do it. They've lengthened the races, the distance of their races in the prep series. So the first prep is 1 1/16 miles. Then their second prep is 1 1/8 miles, where everybody else in the country are running 1 1/16 miles races. And then their last prep is 1 3/16 miles, which is the distance of the Preakness, where everybody else is running at 1 1/8 miles. Fairgrounds, before they did this, I'm 100% with you, even less so. Like I was maybe a C-level crop. I do think they've gotten a lot better with this stretch out of distance because they're catching horses that want to go further earlier, like Sierra Leone when he was prepping, right? He came down here to run in that middle prep because he was at 1 1/8 miles, and then he went to the Bluegrass. So maybe they don't stick around and run the series at Fairgrounds, but you're seeing that Risen Star, which is 1 1/8 miles, that middle prep. It's becoming better and better each year. I think it was a great move that they did, and I think they've elevated their game because of it. So do I still, do I think it's like elite race in and race out there? No, but do I think elite horses are now going there for certain races? Yes, I absolutely do.
Yeah, I good take. Because I was here trying to almost be goofy, be like, you know what, there's whatever, the Fairgrounds. I'm not a huge Fairgrounds fan. I don't love the turf course. Generally going to play there 3-4 days a year, right? That's my big thing. I'll play on the big days, but I usually don't go there on a normal Saturday and decide to play Fairgrounds. I think you made a good point around the Derby, though. And specifically with the adjustment of those prep races, how you've kind of had some very good horses come through. And we should mention, like, Essential Quality came through this track. Like, there have been good horses the last 5-6 years that have come down to Fairgrounds. We'll keep an eye on all those good horses and see where they decide to end up. I talk about this during the Derby. We don't talk about it much to the lead up, and we weren't doing this show at this time last year to be able to talk about it, but being able to figure out which circuit is the best is a phenomenal way to pick a Kentucky Derby winner. People don't pay enough attention to just saying the Florida circuit's the best, who's the best horse there, or the California circuit's the best, who's the best horse there. If you can figure out which circuit is actually producing the best horses, it's a lot easier to figure out a Kentucky Derby winner.
Absolutely. It's a lot easier to figure out who might run second and third as well, and that's a big thing to talk about each year. And, look, for a long time, Santa Anita and Southern California had a run. They had a run because those Baffert horses were so good, right? Now Gulfstream's kind of having a little bit of run there. You just don't hear about Fairgrounds as having a run, but they've produced a lot of horses that have hit the board. They've produced horses that have been able to win Triple Crown races. So, yeah, look, I think it's up and coming. I think when you break it down, Oaklawn and Fairgrounds are always kind of battling, right, to see who's going to have the best string of horses. And while I am an Oaklawn guy, and if it wasn't for Oaklawn, I wouldn't be sitting right here with you. Fairgrounds, since they changed those distances, I'm telling you, I've seen a shift in this. So I think Fairgrounds has kind of leveled the playing field versus Oaklawn. Because, look, Oaklawn had a run where they were just better than Fairgrounds when it came to producing horses. As for the Triple Crown races, I think it's leveled off now, and I think it's interesting as both tracks kind of try to change their tactics. Who beats who, because that is the middle of America. That's who's battling for Triple Crown horses. It's Fairgrounds and it's Oaklawn.
See, it's funny because we're going to talk about our top 5 trainers that we like to bet on a little bit later in the show here. Isn't that just the trainers, though? Haven't we seen the Oaklawn trainers take a step back and the Fairgrounds trainers take a step forward? Even like and it happened when the races switched distances, but like Baffert and, Zito and some of the trainers that were having Triple Crown horses go through Oaklawn just aren't having the same Triple Crown seasons. That seems to be affecting Oaklawn as much as the adjustment in the distance down at Fairgrounds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because Bob Baffert would send horses to Oaklawn and they'd just dominate. And guess who hasn't had a really good horse in a while? Well, let me backtrack. Guess who can't keep a horse healthy? Bob Baffert. Sure. And so, you know what I mean? And then it's like, where's Oaklawn getting horses from? Yeah, and it's always a decision, because Brad Cox and Steve Asmussen train horses at both tracks, so it's always a decision of where are we going with our best horses. And it does kind of feel like it's split. Some years you'll get good ones for Asmussen at Oaklawn. Sometimes it's Fairgrounds. Brad Cox, the same thing. But yeah, timing of it is a lot of it as well. But anyway, I could ramble on and on. But you're right. The big key to Oaklawn has over the years been Bob Baffert. We're just not seeing that great Bob Baffert horse right now.
And we'll see if we'll see them this year, as we don't have any that are really on the radar at 2 heading into the 3-year-old season. Speaking of Mr. Baffert, he was affected by the weather in California as Friday cancels at Del Mar. The card going to move to Monday, Aaron. That's more of just a housekeeping note than anything else. I don't want to get trolled. I don't like all these cancellations. I remember watching Aqueduct in the winter with a foot of snow, and they're like, "Let's run them," Yeah. And now there's a couple inches of rain. It's like, we're off the turf, we're off the dirt, we're off everything. Got a little soft in horse racing over the years.
I feel like Southern California is so scared because of what happened back, I believe it was 2019, when they had a lot of troubles with breakdowns at Santa Anita, and they blamed it on the weather. And now in Southern California, if it rains, they just don't run. Mm-hmm. And that's a wild take when all the other parts of the country, rain is not a factor in canceling a horse race. Now, you're right. Up at Aqueduct, they cancel quicker, I feel like, now than ever when it snows or when it's really windy and cold. And that's another story. But in Southern California, rain cancels racing, and that's just all there is to it. So they canceled last week. They had a day, and now this week they're having a day as well. And again, I think it still stems from that terrifying thing that happened out there that really got the industry in a lot of hot water. But what I'll say is I don't really think sloppy tracks equal horses getting hurt, honestly. I think you can run and be okay. But anyway, yeah, they're going to cancel, and that's just one thing. The good news is in Southern California, you don't have to worry about this too much. It doesn't really rain very much, but here we are.
No, it does not rain often down here. We're in the middle of monsoon season in California, which means that the 11 days of rain we get all year come at this time. Unfortunately for Del Mar, one of those is today. We don't even know if it's going to rain tomorrow yet, but we're still just canceling it and moving it to Monday because it rained today. It is because of everything that happened at Santa Anita. However, we run on a sloppy track, it feels like, 2 tracks a day everywhere across the country. We could probably figure it out here in California. Maybe someone should work on that. Congratulations to Griffin Johnson, who won 2 ownership awards and received a bunch of hate from horse racing Twitter for no reason.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So horse racing Twitter can be a strange place. And so, I think one thing that most of horse racing Twitter can agree on, Mike, until it happens, is we need more we need more eyes on the sport. We need to grow the sport. We need to grow in younger audiences and this kind of stuff, right? That is a thing that you read all the time. Well, Griffin Johnson, if you don't know, he was the owner of Sandman. He got in on the ownership group of Sandman, I should say. And he's a social influencer that has a ton of followers, and he brought a lot of eyes to horse racing. And so, he won an award for new owner of the year, and then he won another award that kind of ambassador for horse racing. And Twitter, specifically with new owner of the year, just went insane, saying he didn't earn it, this, that, all this stuff. To be clear, I'm not on Twitter, but I get screenshots sent to me daily. Please stop. But anyway, if you're listening, and it's just this is crazy. I get it. Maybe there's more deserving people that are new owners. And first of all, he won an award. I'd never even heard of it, and I'm in racing, and I was like, I don't even know what that is.
I didn't either. This is the first time I ever heard this award existed, and it's only because he won it, which proves the point as to why it's not a bad thing that he won it. Although I agree, I get it. Probably not the most deserving new owner. You know what? Who cares? Gets the most eyeballs on the sport. What are we doing? Why are we attacking him? He didn't ask for it.
Well, so my business partner sent it to me, and I'm like, what is that? He's like, I don't know. I was
never heard of it.
Why are we talking about it? And why would anybody care?
That's why we're talking about it.
Well, my comment was, it's even Griffin Johnson shouldn't care that he won this, because it's just I don't understand what we're worried about. And I'm like, look, I was a new owner once upon a time, for a year, and I wouldn't be offended if Griffin Johnson won it over me. You know what I mean? Because who
Did
cares?
you apply for the award? Did you do they even know that you were a new owner that year? I think you could be new owner of the year this year if you didn't.
Well, that's the thing. I asked Jared, my business partner. I said, "Is anybody not saying, oh, this guy should have won it or this girl should have won it?" And he's like, "No." I was like, because they don't even know. Because handicapping, people that handicap horse racing, it's the owner. You really don't look at it.
Well, am I eligible for new owner of the year if I owned horses through a partnership a couple years ago, but then I bought my own next year?
I don't know.
If you can't answer that question, you should not be complaining about who won new owner of the year. So anyway, he got in a lot of hot water because he then said that Sandman was more famous than any horse in the world. and so then Twitter gets all mad about that, because why not? Let's get mad about that. Yeah. How many people do you think watched the Kentucky Derby this year at its peak moment?
I don't know. Do you know? Do you have the answer?
21.7 million people.
Okay.
How many people follow Griffin Johnson on social media sites?
Well, I don't know. I'm not on him. How many?
16 million people.
Okay.
Okay. He is Sandman is 100% the most famous horse in America. Maybe the world, no. But in America, if there's 21.7 people watching the Kentucky Derby and Griffin Johnson has access to over 17 million people, let's do the math here. He is right. It's the most famous horse in America.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too that the Tote Board kind of told us he was right, because especially as it went on, most handicappers are like, yeah, no, but he would still get overbetted. He would look and it's like, wow, he's the favorite. He's the second choice in this. How? It's because all these people are betting that horse blindly because this guy's got a piece of it. So look, he brought a lot of good for horse racing. He's not getting the Eclipse Award for owner of the year, right? And that's really the only awards that I even know of in racing. Mm-hmm. So if he got that, okay, let's get angry. But this is just, hey, he's doing a lot of good. He's still in the game, by the way. He's got Ewing is another horse coming up. So it's let's just try to, let's try to get some recognition, try to kind of hype this guy up. And it's no, don't do that. No recognition for horse racing. What are you talking about? And it's what are you doing? Just leave it alone. Who cares? And the one thing you want to do, don't treat this guy like an animal. You know what I mean? And it's keep him in the game, folks. And it's Jared said, he's if I knew him, I would just send him a message and say, run as fast as you can. You know what I mean? That's how we treat outsiders.
Number one rule in life which should also be the number one rule in horse racing. Just don't be a dick. Just don't. just if you're going to be, just stop and just choose not to be. Like, it's very easy. Just don't go down that road. All right.
Said.
Thanks. Let's talk about Mr. AP. He's done for 2025, pointing toward 2026 and the Santa Anita Prep Series. Ran third last time we saw him over in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Thoughts on Mr. AP and his decision-making process here, Aaron?
That was great. I love that. Cut that out. That's that. Put that on Twitter. All right, Mr. AP. Yeah, hopefully he's not a dick in 2026. Right, and if he thinks he needs to be, choose not to be. Exactly.
Choose not to be.
Look, we're gonna point toward the Santa Anita Prep races, and obviously it's gonna be Mr. AP trying to take kind of that journalism route, go to the three prep races there at Santa Anita, and hopefully get wins for him. He's gonna be facing Bob Baffert, and past that, you don't really know, right? I think it's gonna be Mr. AP and some Bob Baffert runners, and maybe a maiden or two that pop up here in the next couple of months. So I think it's a good decision. I mean, he's ran enough here as a 2-year-old. There's really, when you say, hey, I'm skipping the rest of 2025, it basically means you're skipping the Los Alamitos for charity if you're in California, right?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's like, who cares? So yeah, good decision. Yeah, and I think, look, he's a horse that got a lot better stretching out. So we'll see if he stretches out in 2026 and continues to develop.
Yeah, when Mr. AP is the leading news source on the horse side of the news section, it's not a crazy week inside of horse racing. We'll see him in 2026. Good luck to Mr. AP. We'll see what he's able to do. If you want more insight on the betting side, make sure you head over to firstbet.com. It is built for bettors who demand more, and the official horse racing partner of VSiN. Firstbet isn't just about placing a bet. It's about helping bettors of all levels with proprietary AI handicapping tools that provide data-driven insights to help you make smarter bets. Firstbet's in-app tools give you win, place, and show probabilities for each runner, so you can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI. Right now, you can take advantage of a limited-time $250 sign-up offer. To claim your bonus, use promo code VSiN250. That's VSIN 250 when you sign up at FirstBet or on the FirstBet app. That's firstbet.com, the number one STBET.com. Promo code VSiN250 to get extra $50 over what the standard offer is there. All right, Aaron, let's head into our stakes previews. And we're going to start out here with the Commonwealth Turf Stakes. This is Saturday's card over at Churchill Downs, race number 10, mile and a 16th on the turf. Lots of old friends in here. We talked about the Bryan Station last time at Keeneland. Your winner and your first bet morning line favorite is Troubleshooting, who won the Bryan Station last time, trying to make it 2 for 2 in these races. I did not pick that horse. I don't think you did either. We've got some contenders returning in Giacoso. We've got Simulate back in this race. Got a couple Derby horses in Flying Mohawk and California Burrito that we've talked about during the Derby preps that are in here as well. Feels like a pretty wide open race here at Churchill Downs. Who do you like in this spot?
Yeah, it's a really good race. I'm with you. I did not pick Troubleshooting in this spot. I would not be shocked if the horse wins. Troubleshooting stretched out in distance last time out to a mile, got the job done. I'm not sure, A, the track will play quite like it did at Keeneland that day, and B, now we're going to mile 16th. I don't know, man. I think he might get caught in this one. I just went one horse to his outside as far as a win pick in here. I went number 3, Montador on top. This is a horse we know can go the distance. Last time out went 9 furlongs, which is a little bit longer, mile and 1/8, obviously. Got the job done in an allowance race by 2 lengths. 3 races back, broke the maiden at Kentucky Downs. That last race was at Churchill Downs that he was able to win. So I like him in this spot. I think he's going to sit a really nice trip. Look, I do realize Tyler Gaffleone is going to ride Troubleshooting instead of Montador, but you get Luis Saez aboard. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I like the 5-1 price as well. I think that's pretty logical. So I went number 3, Montador on top.
Yeah, I mean, Gaffleone was never getting off Troubleshooting. Horse has made $1.6 million in its last 2 races, so I think you're sticking around there just in case to see what happens in the future. Now, those races were at 6 furlongs and a mile, and you mentioned it. We're going a mile and 16th here, so a little additional distance. I respect Troubleshooting. Troubleshooting does not get put into the win column for me either. I looked at Montador for a long time. I decided I wanted to go price hunting and not take 5-1, which is honestly not a bad price. But it just feels like this race is absolutely wide open. I almost went back to simulate the 10 for Bill Mott, but Leparoux up instead of Irad Ortiz, instead of Junior Alvarado. that was kind of what got me off. And so I'm going to go to your favorite jockey here, one that I cannot wait to hear if you have him at number 1 or number 2 when we go through the jockey rankings, with Florent Giroux on the 11 Plensa here. I'm going to take Plensa on top, 12-1 on the morning line. Last time out in that Bryan Station at Keeneland, broke out of the 11 post of 12 runners. Didn't get out of the gate very cleanly. Was ended up 4 wide on both of the turns. I kind of like the fact, I don't mind that we're in the 12 because this horse just wants to drop straight back. But if you're dropping straight back, you need to have more of an ability to close ground. I don't think a mile is a long enough trip for this horse to be able to really show that turn of foot that we've seen at the end. Now, has run it a mile twice and won. One of those was at Churchill here. Another one was at Kentucky Downs, but that Kentucky Downs track was a little funky. That was in a $1.8 million race there at the Gun Runner. I think the mile and 16th distance is going to hit this horse right between the eyes. I think you get a closing trip where you're able to just drop straight back, be in last, that's fine, and then make one big move around the far turn in a race that has plenty of speed signed on. So I'm going to take a shot with a price here and go the number 11 Plensa, 12-1.
Yeah, you're in a good mood today. I can tell. You're in a jokey mood today. So
I'm feisty today. What can I say?
I don't know if it's going to be good or bad when we get to the next segment. No, this one's not for me.
What?
but I don't blame you for trying to take a shot here. I don't think this horse is impossible. I would rather play the horse over like the 6 or the 9, honestly, that are a little bit shorter prices. I will say that. But I didn't have the horse on top 4. I'm not going to lie. But I do think last time out, you just draw a line through and forget it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think the races 2 back, 3 back, and 4 back are the ones you kind of look at, and I do think the horse is kind of competitive. I wanted to mention the number 8 Chapman's Peak. This horse I thought about a little bit as well. The last 2 races have been pretty good. This, when this horse debuted, kind of looked at him and said, yeah, this one's got a little bit, this one's got a little bit of a pedigree. Maybe we're going to see him do decent, and just didn't run all that well. But the last 2 races have been good. Broke the maiden at Kentucky Downs, going long and then long again at Keeneland. I think the problem with Chapman's Peak, now we're going short. We're actually like one of the few, going to cut back in distance here. So what does that look like? I do like that Irad gets aboard though. So I thought Chapman's Peak, that's who I had in second. I thought that horse made a lot of sense on paper.
Yeah, I don't like the distance for this horse.
Mm-hmm.
I also think this horse gets overbet with Cox and Ortiz. And I'm just not in love with this horse. I wouldn't be shocked if Chapman's Peak's able to win, but like you said, we are cutting back in distance here. Also catching a firm turf, which was the good turf last time. Also went gate to wire in that race. There's no chance that Chapman's Peak's getting the lead here, so you're going to have to come from off the pace. There's just enough of like kind of quirkiness to it that I didn't want to go that direction. I don't mind the 9 Flying Mohawk, who's 8-1. As you mentioned, is another horse that you kind of would consider there. Blinkers on, actually a really bad move for Whit Beckman. But this horse has had blinkers on for 5 races prior in his career, so I'm not really concerned about that move, considering this is something that this horse has already done. And I'm interested to see if this is a horse that got ruined by the Derby. Like, that to me is the one big time question mark, because this is a horse I liked in the Jeff Ruby Stakes. This is a horse I liked at Fairgrounds, winning on turf before that. And now we'll see, because this is the first time we are back on turf since that run on January 30th of this year at Fairgrounds.
It feels like this horse did get ruined by the Derby. They've tried to enter him a couple times and he had to scratch. Yeah, I don't know. It is odd, because we kind of assumed, they'll go try that, and then, we'll see him at like Saratoga, right, on the turf, or Belmont, the Big A, whatever, but on the NYRA circuit, and they tried and they couldn't get this horse to enter. So we'll see if he makes the race here. The workouts seem pretty good. You go back and look at the one specifically last time on November 15th. I mean, this horse he's starting to pick it up a little bit. So look, we'll see what happens. I'm not a big fan of him in this spot until we see what he comes back and is. But you're right. The Jeff Ruby, he ran pretty well. Those allowance and main special weight wins were good enough to make you think, this could be a decent turf horse. But I'm wait and see. I'm not in love with this one here.
He fits if he improves. Right, and we'll just see if you're going to improve. Logically, you should, first off, lay off late in 3-year-old season, but there is also that Kentucky Derby jinx that you kind of have on there. Producer Matt in the background asking, what are blinkers? Blinkers are a type of equipment that horses wear that help them focus. So they're essentially little cups on either side of their eyes, like this, if anyone's watching. And it means that they cannot look like directly to their right, directly to their left, and so they get more relaxed when they're on the lead. You don't necessarily look at the crowd. It creates a more focused horse. Some horses react well to them. Some show more speed. Some are able to close better. Like it's different with each horse and how they react to the blinkers going on. But it's something that an angle that I like to look at, Aaron, when I'm handicapping. If a trainer is very good blinkers on, especially second time out, or if I know that a horse is working in the morning with blinkers and then you are trying them for the first time on a race day, those are two angles that I'll look for when I'm handicapping.
Yeah, I think it's a big factor. I mean, just think about if you're running a race and you're blind into everything except what's right in front of you. Well, that might make a little bit of a difference. You might get uncomfortable, and that happens with horses sometimes as well. One of the most famous blinkers on that blew up in a trainer's face was Palace Malice in the Kentucky Derby. They thought he had a problem focusing, so they put blinkers on him for the Kentucky Derby for the first time. He was scared to death, and he just ran as fast as he could because he was so scared of what was behind him because he could hear it, but he couldn't see it. And guess what? They took the blinkers off, and he won the Belmont Stakes. So sometimes it has a bad effect. But yeah, like a horse that has trouble focusing, a lot of times they'll put the blinkers on them just to try to get them to focus. To just get them to focus and run straight and not worry about anything else, because a horse can see behind them, believe it or not. They have very good vision to go behind them. And sometimes, maybe they see something in the infield or something in the grandstand, and they just kind of look at it and forget about what they're doing, basically. So it is good. Yeah, some trainers are better than other. But yeah, I did want to mention that Palace Malice name because that was wild that year that he did that.
Can you imagine what it feels like to be able to not realize, like ignore what you're doing and still run at 20 plus miles an hour?
No.
Because it's funny because we mentioned this, like the horse is distracted and it's like they're still going really freaking fast, right? But they are not paying complete attention. It's like it's the focus aspect of it, right? Where you're trying to get them to lock in on just horse racing. All right, is anyone else? We're just way off track here. I want to mention the number 5 Outrunner because I'm not going to mention Irad Ortiz Jr. as one of my favorite trainers to bet, which is coming up here a little bit later in the show. He's not going to make the list. Why is this horse 30-1? Like, I understand we were a long shot here, but 30-1 seems like a crazy price on the 5 Outrunner.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I saw 30-1 and thought, well, that's a little crazy. I don't know. Will he actually be 30-1? I'm not sure because you kind of look, I don't know, maybe he will, but what's he really done wrong? I mean, last time out, a grade 3 race at Colonial, I thought the horse was fine. Got third, got second in allowance at Colonial. Maybe that's why Colonial Monmouth is where this horse been running. But I had the horse in 5th. I mean, it's not like I thought this was an amazing, outlier that has no chance. I think this horse shows up with a chance, and I think the horse will be, forwardly placed. And we've seen crazier things where a horse gets forward and keeps running. So pretty interesting to see that at 30-1. I'm not using them, to be honest, but I don't hate it if you're going to throw them on a ticket.
Yeah, underneath horse for me. Tries supers. 30-1's crazy price. Last one I want to talk about here. Number 1 horse, California Burrito. Brian Hernandez Jr. jumps aboard here. Brian Hernandez. Brian Hernandez Jr. jumps aboard for Tom Drury. Never touched the turf. Shows some speed. Doesn't need the lead. Any interest here on California Burrito at 20-1?
This was a horse everybody kind of fell in love with over at Turfway on the synthetic. And so that's a good sign that the horse, will take to the dirt. Okay, or excuse me, the turf. Okay. Another one that hasn't ran since, Kentucky Derby day. He was in the Pat Day Mile. Same day Flying Mohawk was in the Kentucky Derby, and he did no running. And neither did Flying Mohawk. So we'll see how they come back. Look, I mean, when you kind of look at this horse and what happened on the synthetic, ran really well 3 out of 4 times there. Went to the Jeff Ruby Stakes and didn't match up. That's kind of the negative because this is a kind of a tough race. But won the John Battaglia at this distance on the synthetic. It'll translate to the turf, I think. Is he good enough? I think that's the big question mark.
Yeah, a speed player. If I knew this horse didn't need the lead to win, I'd be more interested. I'm worried that you need the lead to win, and there's a couple others that want to hit the go button here right from the gate. The race number 10 from Churchill Downs on Saturday, Commonwealth, grade 3, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. Number 3, Montador for Aaron, 5-1 on the morning line. Number 11, Plensa for me, 12-1 on the morning line. If you're looking for more picks across the horse and sports racing world, make sure you're checking out VSiN Pro to get your edge in both of those markets. You can try it now for just $9.99 for your first month. Head over to vsin.com/subscribe to check out all of the subscription options. All right, Aaron, let's look to Gulfstream Park here. Race number 6, the Juvenile Sprint for 2-year-olds here going 6.5 furlongs over the dirt. This is a fascinating race, mainly because of the number 6 local knowledge. And like there are other horses in here, obviously, as we see 6 of them line up. Local knowledge could be a Derby horse, and I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight this race specifically. So I'm picking local knowledge on top. I'm guessing you're picking local knowledge on top. Let's talk about local knowledge here a little bit before we get into the rest of the race.
Yeah, look, I it's a light week, and if we had other stakes races, we'd probably talk about it because we do like to talk about competitive races. This is not a competitive race on paper. Local knowledge, and I'm not a huge speed figure guy, but local knowledge received a 94 Beyer speed figure for his debut effort, a win in a maiden special weight at Keeneland. A maiden special weight that on paper looked pretty tough. Now, 94 is very good for a debut runner. Very good. The next best Beyer in this field is a 64.
Not very fast.
30 points higher. Obviously, this is a single. This horse was going to be, a horse that's going to be bet a ton in the spot. Now, yeah, look at the Kentucky Derby situation with this horse. It does kind of have a feel of, hey, get a win here, and then we'll go to the Derby Trail at Gulfstream Park. Todd Pletcher, obviously, though, has another good horse as well, so we'll see. Maybe it's a Tampa Bay Derby type of horse with local knowledge. I think the interesting part is the pedigree, though. How far will this horse want to run? By Yalpan, who was a sprinter out of a Scat Daddy mare. Now, we've seen Scat Daddies be able to do about anything, right? But how far will he ultimately want to run? $625,000 purchase. We got that as well. But, I mean, local knowledge is a pick, and he's probably a horse we'll probably talk about for the Derby if he does what we think he's going to do here.
Yeah, local knowledge is a pick. I actually like an exacta with the 2 strategic reserve in second. If you want to go that direction and try and find a little bit of value, I'm glad you brought up the sire. Let's talk about Yalpan. This is the first year that Yalpan has had a crop go to the track. So this is his 2-year-old season here. His first year as a sire. 21% across, or 24%, I'm sorry, across all races. 21% right now with first-time starters who are 2-year-olds, which is a phenomenally good route. Dirt sprinting, 26%. Dirt routing, small sample size, just 8 races, 25%.
Mm-hmm.
All races that I can find of his top prodigy were in stakes races going 2 turns. I think he's going to be just fine going 2 turns. And this is a horse by Uncle. His sire was Uncle Mo, a horse that did very well going long. I wouldn't be shocked if Yalpan turns into one of those sires who can sprint and who can also go to have 2-turn horses. So I'm actually really interested to see what local knowledge can do here and if we can build up to what is going to be the future.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he is interesting as a sire. We, like I said, we don't know going long. If you forgot about Yalpan, he won 6 out of 8 races, and he won them all sprinting. He never went further than 7 furlongs. He did win that 7 furlong race, by the way, the 4-go with a 103 Beyer. Got injured after that race, but that was his best race of his career. You're right. By Uncle Mo out of a Vindication mare. I mean, it doesn't scream mile and a quarter, Mike, but mile 16th, mile and 8th. Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah. I don't know how far. I don't know how far he'll want to go, but you're right. He's off to a great start as a sire. We'll really start to learn who he is as a sire. This round of Kentucky Derby preps is where we'll start to it because now they will ask those horses to go further. But he was a great horse. He's a horse a lot of people forget because he did get injured before he was ready to really run in those huge races. I mean, he did run in the Breeders' Cup Sprint and he didn't run well. And so that's another kind of strike against him. But he was developing, getting ready to have a big next year before the injury. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to watch this horse, right? Look, Pletcher's got a great horse in Ted Nafi. But like I said, there's a lot of options when you're on the Kentucky Derby Trail for horses to go. And this could be a good, 1A Ted Nafi, maybe 1B will be local knowledge.
It's funny. I'm looking through this. I'm like old school. I'm used to a horse standing in a certain spot, and so that meant like he stands in Kentucky. That means there's only Kentucky breds when you're looking at the state breeding and how it works. I'm looking through Yalpan's top 20 prodigy, something cool over at DRF that you can pull up. You can see who their top 20 horses are. Mohaven, one of them, who is running 4 state bred races in California. Let Me Count the Ways, one of them, who's running back-to-back state bred races in New York, and then Crown the Buckeye, who is running 3 straight stakes bred races in Ohio. So it's funny how now you can be a horse like all these different states have your children running it. Just standing for $25,000. Yalpan, a great horse to look forward to. So Gulfstream Park race number 6, Juvenile Sprint, $75,000 going 6.5 on the dirt on Saturday. Local knowledge for Aaron, local knowledge for me. The number 6 horse, one we are excited to watch moving forward here as we head down the Kentucky Derby Trail of 2026. All right. Without further ado, we are going to flip to our top 5 jockeys and trainers that we like to bet right now. So what does that mean, Aaron? I think we should break down the credentials for this first. I will give what my thoughts were when I was coming up with my list. Then you can kind of add on if you think there's anything you'd like to add on. And then we can go back and forth and create a combined list. I don't know Aaron's list. Aaron doesn't know my list. We are doing this straight from scratch. So bear with us if there's a couple pauses at times. So when I'm talking about jockeys that I trust, I am thinking, am I going to, A, get the right ride? So is a speed horse going to go to the front? Joel Rosario, I'm looking at you. You're not going to make the list. Is it going to be a ride where I believe that the horse is going to be put off the pace and close? Is the jockey going to do the right thing with the horse? Okay, that's number one for me when I'm looking at this. Number two, do I trust the jockey picking a specific horse? So if there's 2 horses in a race and Flavien Prat lands on one, do I think he usually makes the right decision? Do I think he makes the wrong decision? Does that affect how I handicap the race? So that's a part of it for me. Can he steal a race? So does the jockey understand the fractions in the head well enough to put a horse the opposite of what they usually run to be able to steal that race? So if you have a speed horse, does the jockey know, hey, they're going 22 flat. I don't want to be on the lead. I want to sit just off of it so I give my horse a better chance to win. It's all about giving your horse a chance to win and doing what you should based on the past performances here with the jockey side of it. What say you, Aaron?
Wow. That's really good. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was had in mind there, plus a little more that I didn't think about, but makes a lot of sense. I also kind of looked at it from if I was owning a horse, who would I want?
Okay.
And here's the other thing. What jockeys will listen to instructions, but then be able to adjust if they need to adjust? And you kind of mentioned that, hey, if the conditions change of what the past performances say, what jockeys will be able to adjust? And I think that is a huge, huge thing as well. And like I said, I also thought, well, listen, if I've got a horse in a race, who do I want, right? So yeah, but I think you laid it out pretty good. And when you're betting horses, kind of my deal of it is, if I chose a horse, I just don't want the jockey to be a liability at minimum, right? I don't want to say, I love this horse.
Bar.
Yeah, I love this horse, but it's like, oh God, this guy's riding. Who knows what might happen? I don't want that. So, yeah. And that's with these guys that I have on my list. I don't even think about it, unless it's a positive, like, oh, I think he'll do good. You know what I mean?
Finally, you have to ride in North America to be included on this list. So no European jockeys, no European trainers will show up, despite how well they do when they come over for the Breeders' Cup. So those are going to be left to the side, just giving everybody a heads up there. And I'm also when I made these lists, I realized I'm biased. I am biased to New York, Florida, and California. Aaron may have a little wider breadth of who he believes where the best jockeys and trainers are, but I actually think the best jockeys and trainers are in those 3 places anyway. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Jockeys, let's start out here because I think this is pretty easy. To me, there are 3 clear-cut jockeys that have to be 1, 2, 3. I'm fine with whatever order. The 2 that I think you will agree with are Irad Ortiz Jr. and Flavien Prat. I trust both of them. They put horses in the right spot. They control races. They understand the pace of the race. The 3rd for me, John Velazquez, who I think gets home at bigger prices more often than almost any other jockey. I trust to ride a horse correctly, can take over a race on the front end when needed, but can also sit off it, has a very good clock in his head, successful turf. If you look at his ROI, he's consistently one of the best. I think Velazquez has to be in the top 3 still.
I had Velazquez 5th.
Okay.
So that could be in a debate. I think it's Flavien Prat, Irad Ortiz. I think that's 1, 2 in that order. If you want to flip it, I'm not going to go crazy on you because certain times of year, Irad will be first, and certain times of year it's Flavien. I just think Flavien's just a little better. And that's just me. I think one criteria, I think you can put Flavien Prat on any kind of horse. It doesn't matter. Turf, dirt, speed, coming from behind. He's going to ride it great. So Flavien Prat, number 1 for me, Irad 2.
I think those 2 can be interchanged. So I'm fine with Prat 1. So we'll officially say Prat 1, Irad 2.
Okay.
And those really are the 2 that you don't even have to debate, right? Yeah. We're at that point with those 2 in North America. All right. So you have Velazquez 5. Mm-hmm. Who did you put at 3?
Well, this is a guy that people are going to say, maybe you're a prisoner of the moment a little bit when it comes to Junior Alvarado because of how, sovereignty and look, anybody could ride sovereignty. Well, you know what? Back up. Manny Franco lost on sovereignty, okay? So maybe not anybody can. Maybe it was Junior doing a pretty good job as well. I love Junior Alvarado, and he's not like, other than the sovereignty situation, he's not like the household name like Flavien or Irad. I think he does a great job. If you want to look at a horse where maybe, wasn't the favorite, obviously, look at Scylla in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. This is a horse that come from off the pace. He read the track. He read the situation. He saw that, Seismic Beauty wasn't going to get to the front. He just took that horse to the front, went Gates Wire and won. Junior can do that. He's very good about reading what does the horse want to do, what is the pace setup looking like, what do I need to do. So I had Junior Alvarado at 3. Maybe I've got him overrated. I just really like the guy. I'm always confident when he's riding.
I had Junior at 5.
Okay.
So we flip-flopped those two. This is, like, again, part of my New York, Florida bias. I think Alvarado's done a wonderful job. Bill Mott's going to come up on my trainers list, P.S. He gets a lot of Bill Mott rides. I think he handles those very well. Someone I'm confident on both turf and dirt, which was important for me when making this list, is like, do I believe you can ride both surfaces well? He checks that box as well. So we have this 4 of the same top 5. I don't think you're going to have my 5th or my 4th in your top 5. I went with Juan Hernandez. I went with one of the California riders. I thought Juan Hernandez. Why are you smiling like that? Did you go Juan Hernandez 4?
Yep.
Oh my God, this is a terrible segment. This is a terrible segment. I mean, like, well, how are we ending up with the same top 5? That's ridiculous.
Because we bet horses day in and day out, and we know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, you're gonna get good rides, turf or dirt from Hernandez. He's the one California jockey I think could go east and actually be successful if he went to New York, if he went to Florida. He gets good mounts in California. I think that's why he sticks around there, because he kind of is the best of the best out in California, big fish, small pond type thing. But I do think that if he decided to go to New York, he would be competitive day one.
I do too, and I think he stays in California because of the Bob Baffert connection. And I think a lot of people listening will go, he rides for Bob Baffert. How hard is that? Why do you think he rides for Bob Baffert? Because he's the best jockey out there, okay? And so that's what it is, right? I get it. A lot of guys have been jockeys for Bob Baffert and been successful. I know when you're on the best horse, it does make you look better, but he wins for other trainers as well. And look, I think you could easily put Jose Ortiz on the list. But again, I think Juan Hernandez, day in and day out, does a great job. And I think we do need some California representation on the list. And I think he is the kind of the clear-cut guy. And look, we've thrown shade on Rispoli on the show before. I like Umberto Rispoli a lot. He's a guy I bet a lot, honestly. But I think Hernandez is a little better than him. And that's the one I wanted from Southern California.
Yeah, look, Hernandez is the best California jock. Period, end of sentence, right? Rispoli's clearly second. Period, end of sentence. But I'd like, if you're making a top 5, I don't think 2 California jockeys make it in there. Also rans for me. So you mentioned Jose Ortiz. He's someone who would be in my top 10. Kendrick Carmouche is interesting, but it would only be on speed horses, which kind of hurt his candidacy here. If we did this a year ago, Dylan Davis would have made my top 5. Yeah. He was riding so much better last year than this year, and it's a reason why you got to kind of pay attention to who is riding well at certain times, because you do see differences in riders. I mean, look, Joel Rosario, who we joke about on the show, he was a legitimate Hall of Fame Saratoga contending rider 5 years ago. It's just we're not that rider that we were 5 years ago anymore, and that's when you still get bet like it. That's why we make the jokes. Anyone else that I didn't mention? I mean, Ricardo Santana Jr., Brian Hernandez, like those, the Tyler Gaffleone, I mean, those would be the other ones that kind of would be on the list for me that are in some other locations.
Yeah, they're right there. I'm glad you mentioned those guys. I'm glad you mentioned Dylan. Get well, Dylan Davis, bad injury, hopefully. And look, I'm with you. Dylan was great last year, but that's what's a separator. It's hard year in, year out to go out there and be at the top of your game. There's really nothing wrong with what Dylan Davis did this year. It's just he wasn't that elite level as last year. Jose Lezcano is a guy that just always is consistent, but now he's not going to get you beat. He's probably also not going to be like get creative and do something crazy. But Jose Lezcano is very good. You talked about the criteria for this list is not to be one-dimensional, and I feel like that's where Luis Saez, who I think is a really good rider, but it's a specific type of ride that he's really, really good at, right? And so that's why I'd love to put him on the list, but it's like he's just kind of a speed rider until you see otherwise. So that's with him. Also, you mentioned Ricardo Santana. I thought he had a very impressive summer and into the fall, getting away from the comfort zone of Oaklawn Park and going up to the Naira circuit and doing well in riding prices. So it's no disrespect he's not on the list here, but it's tough to get up to this top 5 that we've got. To me, and it's amazing. I'm shocked we have the same 5, just different order, but these are 5 elite guys, and they've been elite guys for a long time.
Yeah, it's I would not have even mentioned Ricardo Santana Jr. a year ago.
Same.
Not even mentioned him. And so to be where he is, I think that's a good job by you, Ricardo. I'm sure you're out there listening to VSiN at the Track every week. Appreciate you downloading, subscribing, hitting the thumbs up button, the like button. Anyone out there who is listening on Apple or Spotify, much like our friend Ricardo, make sure you're subscribed so that you can download every single episode as it comes out over the next year or so as we plan up or lead up to the Kentucky Derby. If you're over on YouTube at VSiN Live, make sure you give us a thumbs up button and subscribe there so you can make sure you don't miss any drop. All right, Aaron, let's head over to the top 5 trainers where, again, these are trainers that I want to bet, which means price for me absolutely matters. And my perception of your abilities on both surfaces absolutely matters. Number 1 was easy for me. Who was your number 1?
Number 1 was easy for me. So, Chad Brown.
I don't think it's
Chad Brown's number 1 for me.
No, Todd Pletcher is number 1. I think Todd Pletcher's. I still don't love Chad Brown on either surface. Like, I don't have overconfidence in betting his horses. His great horses, I think you can bet. It's like the first time starters on dirt that get overbet every single time at Saratoga that never win. It's the turf horses where you've got 3 of them in those early. If it's just stakes races, I agree Chad Brown is high up on this list, if not at the top. But when looking at the breadth of every race we run every single day, I don't even think he's top 5.
I think he's number 1, and I trust him so much. That's the thing. Like, not as a human being, not at all. Terrible.
I trust him to not be a great human being.
Fair. Maybe I do trust him. It's just I don't want to be friends with him.
There
Anyway.
No, yeah. It's like
well, maybe I would want to be friends with him now. Maybe he is my kind of guy. I don't know. Let's talk about that later. But
yeah, let's move along.
Here's the deal. Yeah, good point. Anyway, I trust when he sends out a horse, the horse is ready to run, and the horse is in a good spot. And that is something that I don't think you can trust with a lot of these guys. But with Chad Brown, I trust, okay, he's got that horse entered. He believes it's in the right spot, number 1, and they're going to run a good race. And I think that's all you could ask. And look, I agree, when he's got 3 and 4 horses in those races, it's super annoying. But I trust Chad Brown that his horses are going to show up and run well.
Okay. All right. I understand that. I disagree with you. I think Chad Brown takes races off, specifically at the lower levels. I think Chad Brown runs races as preps, specifically at the lower levels. So I'm going to go ahead and say Todd Pletcher is number 1. Did Todd Pletcher make your list? Chad Brown did not make my top 5. Because this is trainers I trust too bad. Chad Brown was not on the top 5.
So now we're going to get the argument. Okay.
Yes.
So Todd Pletcher is on my list.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good.
He's number 5 on my list.
I mean, we already know that your list is flawed because you put Chad Brown on it, let alone put it on top. So that's great. Good for you. All right, let's go to number 2. Who's number 2 on your list?
The number 2 is Bill Mott. And I think as far as a horseman, Bill Mott is number 1. I don't think there is a better horseman in this country than Bill Mott. I think he's fantastic. Here's the other thing. You kind of know when to bet Bill Mott and when not to bet Bill Mott. You know his patterns. He's very similar. First out, don't bet him. Second out, you know that horse is going to improve most times. If he does have a debut winner, you know that horse is going to be really well. There's just spots I feel like, and maybe this is personal to me, I just kind of feel like I know when a Bill Mott horse is going to run big and when he's just kind of getting this horse, knock the rust off, prep him, whatever. And look, you put that to fruition this year. We're targeting the Kentucky Derby. Maybe the Florida Derby, don't get so mad, when Sovereignty loses it. So Bill Mott, number 2 for me. And again, it's a trust factor, and I can trust if the horse is out there, I kind of got a good idea of what Bill Mott's trying to do with that horse.
See, I knew you'd come around and do a good job in this segment eventually. Bill Mott, number 2 for me as well. For all the reasons you said. He is very readable. Like, I appreciate how transparent he is when you pay attention to him over the years. You know exactly when his horses are going to run and when they aren't. Like, I even remember we were covering Saratoga. I said, well, this is a mott horse that's going to run. Like, you just kind of know sometimes that these are the mott horses that are going to run. He's good with younger horses, good with older horses. The one thing he sucks at, he is 0 for his last 60, going a mile plus on the turf with debut horses. So just as long as you avoid that, you're fine with Bill Mott.
But in part of this, when you're betting, okay, I don't have to
I
worry
can
about
avoid
him.
that. Yes, exactly.
Even though that's a negative stat, it's a stat I can use and apply, right? By the way, he's got a first-time starter that's interesting. We'll talk about it in the best bets section because we all have Aqueduct. He has an interesting first-time starter at Aqueduct coming up on Saturday. But anyway, which I know you can't really bet him first-timer, but that's an interesting one. But anyway, yeah, that's you gotta, as a handicapper, the one thing you want is consistent. Look at me, I'm holding my heart. Like, it's near to my heart. Consistency. Here are numbers that are consistent and make sense to me.
Number 3 for me. Surprised I put this trainer on my list. Younger gentleman. Just took over for his father.
Very
Miguel
good,
Clement.
Mike.
Number 3 on the list here. Trust him on dirt. Trust him on turf. Trust his jockey choices. You can tell which horse is going to run based off which jockey puts him on, which I also appreciate. Miguel Clement, number 3 for me.
Very good. Very good. Miguel Clement, number 3 for me.
Look at that. See?
And here's why. I loved his father, Christophe Clement. I was heartbroken when he passed away. And look, it was one of those deals. Not very many people knew that Christophe had cancer. And then, like, you're just going about your day and you're like, what? He passed away. It's crazy. And so I was heartbroken because I loved his father and I loved to bet him. Miguel Clement was the assistant trainer, and I think behind the scenes was really starting to take over the operation. So he hit the ground running, but still, you don't know what's going to happen. This guy's is really, really good. I mean, he's picked up right where his father left off. And I'm with you. I think the biggest thing, and Christophe, I think, was, look, he knew what he was doing, but he may be too loyal to a certain jockey, let's say. Miguel's done a good job of getting the right jockey on the right horse, even more so maybe than his dad could do. So he's doing a great job. I'm a big fan of Miguel Clement. So I'm with you. And again, it's a trust factor. I know that he's going to spot the horses the right situation. I know that he thinks that horse is going to run well if he's entering him. And you got that extra bonus of, I think he does a really good job with the jockeys. So yeah, Miguel Clement, number 3, good job.
Struggled a little bit first-time starters early. That was clearly just a small sample size problem because he has won quite a bit with firsters after that original struggle. So Miguel Clement, number 3 there for both of us. If it weren't for your mistake, we'd have very similar lists here. Number 4 for me. I'm interested to see if this person's on your list because I think number 4 and number 5 almost become personal preferences. Number 4 for me going to be Graham Motion, who I think is a very easy trainer to read. Is a trainer who hits at a pretty high percentage, around 18%. You can tell when the horses are going to run. And if you follow his horses when they are shipping around, you can usually get good prices on him as well. So Graham Motion, number 4 for me from trainers I trust to bet.
Love Graham Motion. Think he is a fantastic human being and a fantastic trainer. I never get his horses right. Hate Graham Motion.
See, I get him right. I like Graham Motion because I get him right. So there's like, and this is the funny part. Number 5 for me was William Walden, another very young trainer who I love to bet, who I think is undervalued right now as a betting trainer, and really the reason he's on my list, he's undervalued. But like, you could go Arnold, you could go Lynch. Like, there's a lot of different trainers that I thought could slide into the 4 or 5 spot. You could go Steve Asmussen if you just took the subset of when his kids don't ride. Like, then he becomes a really good trainer. There's certain things that you could do here to go like with 10 different trainers if you wanted to. I think this is deeper than Jockeys.
Well, William Walden's a great choice. He's an up-and-comer. He didn't make my list, but if we do this next year, I think he could for sure. The Graham Motion thing is the bane of my existence. And again, I root for Graham. I like him. I think he does a great job. I can't get him right, so I can't put him on the list, Mike. That's the problem.
See, that's the funny thing. Like, if I'm sure there's a trainer you're going to mention, I'm like, I just can't get him right, and that's why he's not. Honestly, Brian Lynch is the one that's not on my list because I get him wrong too much. I would not say if someone had him on their top 5, I wouldn't say that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Okay, so you mentioned Steve Asmussen, who you're going to be shocked. I don't have him on the list.
You can't put him on the list because if you only took the horses he trains when it's not his kids riding, I think you could have him on the list. I would have accepted that as an answer had you taken only the subset where his kids aren't up.
I can't argue. I can't argue that. Maybe, well, not maybe. Factually, how I kind of look at it. Oh, you got Jose Ortiz riding this one? You know
Maybe
what I mean?
Bet it. Maybe. Maybe that's a good one.
Yeah. So you may think about that. You may, again, I'm saying you should look at that. Yeah. But I didn't have him on the list. Look, number 4, I already said I had Pletcher 5. Number 4 for me, it's still Bob Baffert. And here's why. Okay. If you're betting Bob Baffert in a future wager of any kind, go ahead and stop that. If the horse makes the race, they're still awfully damn tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I have Bob Baffert at number 4. Don't worry about what he might do 2 weeks from now. If they enter, they make the race, they don't scratch, he's still tough to beat.
The problem with Bob Baffert for me is the word trust is included here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust him shipping anymore. I trust him in California. But when he sends to, basically last year, the 3-year-old season that he had makes it hard for me to want to say, well, got to include the Baffert at Oaklawn. Got to include the Baffert at Aqueduct. Like, do you? Do you have to? Because I'm not sure you do after last year.
Part of the problem is he set a bar so high that it's hard to get back to that bar because, look, he did ship out and win the Wood Memorial with Rodriguez, right? And we kind of forget about it because he lost a lot of other ones where he shipped out.
Well, that was the
right?
only one he won.
Yeah, the only ship out prep that he won. Yeah. He did Hope Road did ship to Saratoga and win a stakes. Like there are some out there. I know why you're laughing.
You went from April to August.
I know why you're laughing because you're right. No, he did. He didn't. And that's, I'm not trying to say that he did do something that, but again, the bar was set really high. And I think anytime, especially like handicappers that say have been in it for more than 5 or 6 years, right? That they remember the kind of the old days where, oh, he's at the Pennsylvania Derby. Well, there's your win. Oh, he went up to Mama for the Haskell. Win. Oh, he's at Oaklawn for every prep. Win. That isn't happening anymore. Yeah. That's a stone cold fact. And also, again, okay, a horse wins in February. Will we see him again this year? That's happening a lot, Mike, and that didn't happen. It does happen. It happens to everybody. It's happening in bunches to his horses. That didn't used to be the case. So, it's 5, 6, 7 years ago. So anyway, he's still there because when I look at a race card, and look, if we're at Santa Anita or Del Mar, it's like, okay, here's a Baffert. You also with Baffert, if he has multiple horses entered, which one he likes by the jockeys that he picks. Where with Chad Brown, when he has 3 or 4 entered, you just don't know.
Yeah, that's why I hate
I do like that aspect.
Yeah, you put Chad Brown at number 1. You don't even know which horse is going to go to the lead when he has 3 horses.
I still think he's the best.
Yeah,
sorry.
There's a difference between best and trusting.
Okay, so how are we going to do this, though?
I don't know. So Bill Mott's 1. I think Bill Mott's 1 on our combined list because we both have him at 2.
Yeah.
We disagree with every other parts of it. If you want to put Chad Brown at the bottom, I'm fine with it. Maybe we put like Pletcher 4, Mott 5, or Brown 5.
Well,
I don't like. Look, you just mentioned the problem with Chad Brown. He enters 3 into a stakes race. You have no clue which one is going to the lead. You don't know which one's changing styles. He enters 2 into a maiden special weight race. He puts his good jockeys on both of them. One of them doesn't run a lick and comes back and wires or airs the next time out. Like, that's my problem with Chad Brown from a trust factor. I don't trust him.
Okay, fine. Because here's the deal. You didn't even rank him. I did at least rank Pletcher. So Pletcher should be ahead of Chad Brown. Yeah.
All right. So we got Mott 1, Pletcher 4, Brown 5.
Okay.
Miguel Clement should be on the list.
Yeah, he has to be. We both had him at 3.
We'll put him at 2.
Okay.
Who gets the third spot? Is it Walden? Is it Baffert? I'm shocked you didn't mention Brad Cox, to be honest. I thought he was going to be like high up on your list.
Okay, stop real quick on that one because we got to talk about that one.
Yeah.
That's a guy I don't trust.
Okay, why? He's 28% for the year. And you love Brad Cox horses. You are like the Brad Cox homer of all homers.
I don't trust him.
Well, he lies to everybody about like he's every single time I hear Brad Cox loves the horse, I'm like, oh, I'm out. No interest.
Look, I'm not saying, and when I say something like that, yes, I do pick him a lot because you know what? He's got good horses. And I'm not saying he's a bad trainer. I don't
No.
trust him at all.
No. It's so funny because you and Jared text me all the time, be like, Brad Cox says he loves this horse. We know he loves this horse. I'm like, he's not gonna do well. He's the ultimate trainer where he says he loves horses, like every horse he loves. You can't take his word for it.
Here's the problem. I have friends that are friendly with him. I'm not friendly with him, to be clear. But I have some insides. I never get a good, and that's me maybe knowing too much, because maybe if I didn't hear all the time, oh, he loves it, this is his Derby horse, and then he doesn't win for 3 months, then maybe I wouldn't get so mad. I can't have him on my list because he makes me upset. So there you go.
I also think that people who are close to trainers, close to horses, even the trainers, like anyone who is too close to a horse, I think has a very hard time realistically looking at their horse.
100%.
I've owned very small percentages of horses. I thought they were all better than Secretariat when they were running. Like I remember having a favorite in a race. I'm like, there is no way she's losing. I love this horse, and she's obviously got trouble. Clipped heels, doesn't win.
Yeah.
Like when you own a horse, when you are close to a horse, you wholeheartedly believe that is the fastest animal on 4 legs in the entire freaking world, and no one can tell you not. That's why I don't trust the trainers. Not because I think they're lying. I think they're too close.
You're right. And again, I say I don't trust that guy. It's just more for handicapping. This doesn't mean as a human being I don't trust him. It's just I've heard too much shit and it never comes true, and that pisses me off. So anyway, no, I agree. Like, listen, we the last horse I had was named Husker Butch, and he's a 7.5 claimer basically, and like we wanted to run at Keeneland just to say we ran him at Keeneland, and so
see, like
the whole ownership group, the trainer's like the trainer Kelly Von Hebel, nicest guy in the world. He's number 1 on anybody's list, by the way. But anyway, he was like, I don't know, guys. It's like, oh, let's just do it. It'd be fun, And so we kind of go into it like, yeah, he can't win, and then the entries come out, and you're looking at him, and it's pretty clear if this is any other horse, you're not. But we're like, hey, he's right there. He's not right there.
Maybe if he gets the trip, maybe like someone misses the break, all of a sudden, you're too close to it.
There was only like 6 horses in the race, so Kelly was able to get like a good jockey. Like, it's like, look, we got him. Look at this. It's like, it was a personal.
He chose our horse.
Right. He runs 4th out of 6, and we're like, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Yeah. But in the morning, it was like, he's winning, no doubt.
You were starting by the winner's circle. You wanted to make sure you get in there quick enough.
Right.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. One is going to be Bill Mott.
Okay.
2, Miguel Clement.
Okay.
4 is Todd Pletcher. 5 is Chad Brown.
Okay.
You don't like motion.
I listen. I love motion, but I can't.
Okay. And you don't want to go Walden?
I feel like, go Walden. Forget about that. Who cares?
He's an up and comer. I guess
let's give him his props.
Like we could also say Weaver. Like there's quite a few. I mean, like we didn't mention Wesley Ward, John Sadler. There's a lot of really good trainers. I just like Walden because he's one I like to bet a lot. I mean, Ravelli and Russell too, 2 trainers that are not at the major tracks that you could mention as well as people to trust because they win at huge percentages.
Yep.
This list is going to be different for every single person than the jockey list. The jockey list, I think, is much more cut and dry, whereas the trainer list, some of it's going to be who have you had success reading and understanding their cycles, their patterns to be able to get you into the winner's circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And it would change year after year, too. We do this next year, it'll be something different. Like last year, Cherie DeVoe probably would have been on our list.
100%.
Right? Yeah.
100%. She gets bet too much now.
Exactly. And that's why maybe Walden should be ahead of Baffert right now, because Walden's starting to get bet, but not a ton where Baffert gets bet. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I miss the good old days where Cherie went off at 8-1 every single race. All right. Let's get into the best bets here because we do have the first time in VSiN at the Track history, best bets from the same race on different horses. I don't know if you knew that. Aaron, you get to kick us off here. Aqueduct, race number 4, your first best bet of the weekend.
I'm looking at your best bets. So it'll be an interesting conversation there. Where am I going? I'm going to go Aqueduct, race 4, number 7, Sunday Girl. This horse ridden by Flavien Prat, number 1 on our list, by the way. Anyway, a jockey that did not make our list was Katie Davis. This has been Katie Davis's
just missed.
Sorry, Katie. I have a Katie Davis hat, Mike. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Okay, maybe
I'm not shocked, but wear it next week.
Well, I was drinking at Saratoga, and they had them for sale at the Parting Glass, and I bought one. Anyway, I will wear it next week. I'm gonna go number 7, Sunday Girl, 4th race at Aqueduct here. A horse getting Flavien Prat aboard. I think that is a good move. A horse that always runs well in these state bred races is what we're seeing here. It's a weaker field also than she's been facing. I think this is just one that you can count on to get to the lead. I think take some gate to wire. So give me the number 7, Sunday Girl, in the 4th race at Aqueduct.
Yeah, love the outside post for this horse, too. There is some speed to the inside, so if she ends up deciding I don't want to get involved, she should be able to sit right off of it. A little interested in the One Stone Smuggler, but I agree with you. Sunday Girl should be the horse to beat there. Race number 4, Aqueduct, on Saturday. All right, let's move ahead. Race number 7. If we had the little ringside bell, ding, ding, ding. First time we have ever gone against each other here with best bets in the same race. I will let you kick it off. Race number 7 at Aqueduct. Who's your top pick?
I'm going to go, race number 7, Aqueduct. I'm going to go with the number 8. I believe that is pronounced Kainana. I believe it's a Greek name. I looked it up. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I would
not have selected that.
My Missouri in me would say Sinane, but I was like, that can't be how that's said. Kanana is how one of the track announcers said it.
It's not Kanani?
He said Nana. Maybe.
All right.
I think that makes sense. We're going to call it the 8 horse for now. Ridden by Flavien Prat, number 1 on our jockey list. Trained by Brad Cox, who I don't trust
him.
So this is stupid. All right, we're stretching out to 9 furlongs here. Stretching out to 8 furlongs, 3 races back. Was able to get the job done. Looked good. I thought it was one of the best races for this filly. Went back to sprinting and had a couple of really nice efforts. Just couldn't get the job done. 3rd and 2nd in allowance races. Claimed by Brad Cox a few races back, 4 races back. He's hit the board every time. I think the horse gets the lead going this distance. I think we'll be out in front, and I think we'll be able to hold on. So Aqueduct race 7, give me the number 8.
Yeah, I do think that this is your most likely speed. I'm a little worried about the 1 who wants to go as well. I think that's going to be the pace pressure, which is going to help set it up for my horse in here, the number 4, Trail of Gold, David Donk, who honestly could have made the trainers list off of his Saratoga meet. He was absolutely on fire there up at Saratoga. Jose Lezcano gets the ride here. I love the race 2 back, and that's really what keeps drawing me in here. It's a New York Stars and Stripes day, and 6-horse field, but it was a restricted stakes race, and the restriction was horses who have not won a stakes race in X amount of days. When you're at later in the Saratoga season, that is an incredibly hard restriction because all of the horses that have lost graded stakes at Saratoga are like, you know what? Let's jump in here. And you saw that in the race as well as a second place winner, Nona Lynn, came back and won next time out. The third place finisher, Hangover Heaven, came back and won next time out. Great job closing, specifically in 2-way slower pace. They went 1:12 and 3, came home in 24 seconds. This horse made up multiple lengths while able to doing so. Last time out, I actually did not get a very good trip, was stuck wide the entire time, drew the 7-7, made it close, ended up being a 4-horse photo, all 4 of them within a half length of each other. I think that race is going to be underrated when you look at it just on paper. The race 3 back, you can draw a line through where this horse just had to steady pretty badly right after the start, never really had a chance. I think Trail of Gold absolutely live here to win the 7th at Aqueduct on Saturday.
Well, there you go. It's going to be a battle. Who's going to win there, the speed or the closer? I do have the Trail of Gold in 3rd, so I don't think that's crazy.
Are we doing a bottle of tequila for whoever wins a head-to-head between the 2?
No. Absolutely not.
You're boring. Jesus. You don't even trust your own picks. All right, let's head to Aqueduct race. I told you I'm a little spicy today. Wow. Aqueduct race number 10 on Saturday here for my second best bet, and we are going to Unmistaken here. Pretty easy for me to land on this horse. This is just your speed of the speed in a maiden special weight that has absolutely no speed signed on. 6 furlongs on the turf. You want to be forwardly placed, especially at Aqueduct. First time out, this horse, Unmistaken, went fast early and was able to hold on to 3rd after taking quite a bit of money as well, 7-2 on debut. Now, second time out, you're getting Kendrick Carmouche back, who is going to fire this horse out early. And you look through here and everyone who has run has shown very little speed. Everyone who hasn't run doesn't have the workouts in the morning to make me believe you've got another speedball in here. So I'll go with the gate to wire winner in the 10th on Saturday, the number 9, Unmistaken.
Good pick, Mike. I like that one a lot. This is an interesting race because there isn't anybody that's really shown much, but there are some first-time starters that, like the 8, I don't know, maybe that horse can run a little bit, but if Unmistaken improves off that last effort, I don't think it's going to matter. Like that pick.
That's what we are hoping for here. If you're looking to bet these races or any races all weekend, head over to firstbet.com. Use promo code VSiN250, VSIN 250 to sign up and get $50 more than the standard bonus there at First Bet. You can check it out on the First Bet app or at firstbet.com, the number one STBET.com. Mr. Halterman, thank you for putting up with me today. I realized I was a little spicier than normal. Had a fun little discussion around trainers, jockeys, even around horse racing Twitter, which we don't touch on very often.
No.
So it was a good little episode here as we ramp up toward the 2026 Triple Crown Trail. Any parting words here? And I can tell you say you want to. I can tell. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, jeez, I tell you what, this guy, hard to work with him. No, it's been a great show. Aqueduct Race 6 on Saturday. I wanted to mention it. I said Bill Mott has an interesting first-time starter. The number 7 Marble Hall in the 6th race. It is a Bill Mott firster, so I don't know what we're gonna look at here. This horse is interesting to me. Keep an eye on this one.
Are you saying interesting as in long-term prospect for the Kentucky Derby? Are you saying interesting? Where? How interesting are we talking?
I think the horse has talent. Has been working pretty fast for one of his horses.
The most non-committal thing I've ever heard.
Well, I don't know what Charlattan's going to look like as a sire for the Kentucky Derby, but I do think the horse has talent, Mike. Look, the workouts are pretty good, pretty fast for him. They paid a pretty good number, a little over 400,000, I think, for this one. So I just think this is a horse. It looks talented to me on paper. You never know with a 2-year-old, first-time starter. You never really know, but I think this is a horse that's got talent. I wouldn't be shocked if this is one of the few that win first out for him.
I think this is a really productive race.
I do too.
Dr. Sinatra, I think, is a little bit interesting, the two. But Ovechkin, I think, could be a very good horse. That is one I think may matter in the New York prep circuit. That's race number 6 over at Aqueduct. We're already running long, so we're going to take off here. But I'm glad you did mention that very lukewarm take that Marble Hall might be good a little bit later down the road.
Okay, Mike. All right, time to leave.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us here at VSiN at the Track. If you joined us over on YouTube at VSiN Live, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Tell us who your top 5 jockeys and trainers are that you like to bet on. If you're over on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review so we can get out to as many, I was about to say earballs, but it would be eardrums as possible.
Earballs.
Yeah, And good luck this weekend at the track.